Going on, chess friends? It's Rafi Chaudhry here, and in today's video, I am playing a 15-minute game against a player that is fairly strong, 2200 rated player, Hani Abodo from Egypt. It's rated 2210. So, master strength player, and we've started the game with the e4, the Caro-Kann. And I've never seen this move actually, knight to e5. That's a new one for me. So I'm going to go ahead and continue the regular development here. Decided to listen to some classical music today, some Beethoven going on in the background here. Looks like our opponent left the game and I can claim a victory in about 60 seconds. Let's hope he comes back so we can win the game fair and square and not on time. Pretty strong player. Blitzy is 1988. Rapid is his strongest. Seems like, no, actually he's even stronger in classical. It's 2210 in rapid, and in classical he's 2231 rated player. So he did come back and he played d4. Let's challenge the knight on e5 with knight to c6. Potentially expecting bishop to b4. Okay, he didn't play that actually. Okay. Played c3 instead. I'm wondering if I can take on e5 and then play knight to e4. If he plays something like f3, then I have knight c4. Plays b4, I can play knight to a6. He can take, I can take back. Think about if I like that idea or not. Or should I just play bishop f5? He plays bishop b6. However, in that case, queen a5 also come in my way. Some ideas here to consider, for sure. I'll go ahead and play this move first. Just do some natural developing moves here. His knight to d2. Okay, maybe he wants to go into here. Let's continue normal development here. He might be bringing this knight into here to really clamp down on this square here. Let's go ahead and defend, and let's see. Actually, we could probably play queen to b6 first. Attacking the bishop, protecting this queen a5, then comes rook to c8, perhaps. Although I have to worry about a6, a7 pawn in that case. Because he can take, I take, and he takes here. It's definitely a real possibility. Yep. That's exactly what he does. Let's play here. Maybe c5, c4. It's a possibility now. Plays b4. Interesting move. Wow. Why he played that move, I have no clue. Hmm. I think there might be some tactical ideas here in this position possible for me to consider. But I think I'm just gonna continue playing normal looking, solid chess and just develop the bishop. And castle next move. So he's really clamping down on this e5 square. We definitely know that much. Now would be a good time for me to castle away out of all this mess. Get my king into safety. So he's really clamping down on these dark squares. We know that much. Totally stopping any sort of dark square ideas here from us. I think I need to chop this knight off on this e5 square. It's too strong here. Yeah, let's go ahead and get rid of this guy. And then put our other knight into this juicy square on e4. And most likely he will take it. We're hitting c3, we're hitting this knight. Yeah, I want to take this direction. I wonder if I play here, if he takes here, could I trap the queen? It just looks like a lot of trouble for him to get out with his queen if I play this. No, actually, he can just come into c5 at any second, so that wouldn't really make sense. Maybe a5 now, if he takes. Maybe rook e8, then a5. I feel like we have the better bishop now because all of his pawns are in dark squares now. So he wants to come in here and here. And I feel like we should prevent him from making that move with this move. Let's not let him come into here with some activity. And this a5 is coming next anyway. Now let's get a5 in there and try to see if we can drum up some open lines of play here. Seems like the most logical, natural move here, a5. Just blasting open that center. I mean, that queen side. The good thing is our bishop on e4 is doing a really good job of just kind of holding that b file from that rook. So that's definitely a huge help for us in this position. No doubt about that. If he ends up not capturing on the a file, I may even consider playing like rook to a7 followed by rook to a8 and then taking here. And if he takes this way, then we can take the rook. And if he takes this way, then this pawn becomes kind of weak. So he definitely has a plan of playing this kind of move like bishop f6, bishop h6. I take here, he has to take this direction. Because if he takes here, then I'm taking here with check. Yeah, he wants to just crush us completely on this side of the board here. He wants to play this, and if I play this, he wants to play that. Getting out of the pin. Yep, he definitely wants to go for the kill here. No doubt about that. Maybe we can consider this move actually now. To try to put a damper on this attack. We always have our bishop to guard these light squares, and we have the rooks laterally defending us as well. And then we're going to continue attack on this side of the board. This is also weak, so we've got a couple of lines of attack going here. So yeah, I'm thinking maybe like I'm looking at some ideas where he could play bishop to f6. But I mean, I feel like I can just take it. He takes back, and I mean, I can play rook here. I don't see like what he has. I mean, I'm hitting this g2 after that. I don't think he can afford to sacrifice either here or here. I feel like he's just going to be losing a piece. Because if this move is strong, I mean, this just hits this right away. What are some ideas he has? I've considered also potential sacrifices on f7, but then I can always just play this. What else could he do? He can push this, of course, things like that. He can push that. That I can take. I mean, I feel like on the queen side, I've definitely got the advantage over him as far as trying to plow through this pawn chain that he has here. This is definitely a possibility as well. I want to play this next move if I can and then take here. This bishop is doing a really nice job of just hitting some key squares like g2. Has the idea of going to f3, d3 to attack the rook, keeping this rook out of the b1 square, guarding my king side. I mean, this is just an all-purpose beautiful bishop right here. Doing everything. Attacking, holding this, protecting this. I mean, so many things. Potentially threatening to come here and attack the rook again. Come here, attack the queen again. Just all sorts of stuff. He's really thinking a lot. He spent almost 5 minutes on this move. Excuse me. So he must be giving it a lot of deep thought. And he decided that he just doesn't have enough firepower to go after that. And I agree. Definitely so. Now would be a good time to swing our rook over here. I think he's planning on sacrificing this at some point soon. But we have rook here hitting this if he takes this direction. He can defend with this move, or this move, in fact. So the defenses are definitely there. He has left the game again. Guy is definitely lagging a lot. So he takes this direction, okay. So I guess I can take this free pawn now, at the very least. Oh, did not see that. Wow. Okay, well, that changes things a lot. How did I miss that? It's the only move I had, pretty much. Everything else loses on the spot. Queen takes c6 is out move now. Bishop takes h6, rook takes, queen takes mate. But after queen takes c6, I think I have this move hitting this. Now my idea is to take the bishop at some point soon here. I'll also have to watch for these checks and stuff like that up here. If he plays here, then maybe I can play here. Rook check also is an idea, actually. Followed by here. Well, that's an interesting move here. That was definitely a solid move by him. Ooh, can't take that pawn. I almost made a blunder here. Let's play this move. Try to keep these dark squares controlled to some extent. I don't care if he takes this, honestly. Got a lot of attacking chances here on the king side. And this is definitely a threat. but he has to survive this whole attack in order to even get to that point of making that a reality. Already I have threat right here to take on G2 and mate. Did not calculate that sacrifice for sure. Let's take that guy out. Let's give him a little checkaroo up here, hoping that he will play here. And we can take this and take this. Now we win the rook. Is there a checkmate idea here maybe? Let's play it safe and just take this guy out first. I don't have time to calculate all that. Let's give him a check here first. Perhaps we can win the bishop now also. Another check here. And he's out of time. So it was a pretty solid game overall. I think he played extremely well and had some great attacking chances. I just think that, we just kind of outplayed him on the queen side, and his king side attack didn't really, get to where I think he wanted it to be at that point. So, and that was kind of like the main thing for him. Just not being able to get the attack rolling quite fast enough on the king side. But let's look at this game and see what we can get here. Let's request a computer analysis also. So the game started with e4, me playing c6, which is a Caro-Kann. Then my opponent continued with the move knight to f3, and then d5 is the next logical move here in this line of the Caro, the mainland Caro. After he takes, I took back, and this move I've never seen before, knight e5 actually. It's a new one for me. It's the most played move here. Wow, I just never seen this before. It's so strange. The knight to f6 here. Then my opponent played d4, played knight to c6. He played c3. I played him in this position, bishop to f5, just developing my pieces normally, and I want to get the bishop outside of the pawn chain before I play e6. Played knight to d2. I played e6, continuing my development. Bishop to b5 was played. And just curious. Hold on. Let's start from the beginning. I just want to see what the computer suggests some of these moves. If it considers any of them an inaccuracy or anything like that. Inaccuracy it finds is knight to d2. Okay. b6. Bishop b5. Queen to b6. Queen to a4. What did I play? Rook to c8 is what I played. Played b4. I didn't understand the b4 move much at all. I'd imagine he probably played this to just get some sort of a dark square control strategy of some type, but I'm not sure if this was the right time to play b4. Maybe you know, played bishop to d6. Played f4, and I went ahead and castled my king. He took. I took back, and he played castles, and I then took the knight on e5. And I think that was what the computer is suggesting is an inaccuracy. But my idea with that move was just, I'm just going to take and then put my knight on a good square. That knight just seemed annoying to me. Like it's hitting c6, it's coming into d7, so it's kind of tying down my knight on f6 and strong, well-placed knight. And yeah, I knew that he was going to get a pawn on e5 and that was going to be a thorn and fire advanced pawn. But with no knights left on the board, really, I feel like that kind of advance it's not really that threatening, I guess. So I played this. He took. And then I went ahead and planted my knight onto the e4 square, which was an inaccuracy. He took. I took. And he played a3. So now I realize that, there's not much going on the king side, and my pawn chain is kind of pointing towards the queen side, so this is where I should be playing. So I was trying to break up these pawns right here somehow. So I played, especially I wanted to get rid of this weak pawn on a7 that I had. So I went ahead and played rook to a8 with the idea of playing this move a5. I was considering just playing this, but then I realized that he can just take here. And also if I play b5, then he can take here and then play like queen back to c5, and then I don't really have a whole lot to show. So I played rook to a8. He played bishop to g5. His idea is to play, I think, bishop to e7, followed by bishop to c5, just really controlling these dark squares and putting lots of pressure here. If I can let his bishop come in here, so that would not be good for me. So I decided to defend against that idea of bishop e7 by playing rook to e8. Plays his queen back to d1. Queen wasn't really doing much, excuse me, on a4 anymore. And now I thought that this would be a good time for me to go ahead and get my move in a5. So I played a5. Played queen to g4 now. And so with queen g4, he's planning on playing something like bishop to f6 or bishop to h6 with the idea of checkmating on g7. So I played rook to a7. I wasn't really that scared of these moves because I just feel like I can always play bishop back to g6 to prevent that. And he has to move his bishop again, or else I would just take it. So yeah, I just didn't really care much for that threat, honestly. Although the computer does not like my move rook a7, it suggests to go ahead and just take the pawn on b4. And then I went ahead and played rook to a7, giving some lateral defense to this side right here, and also preparing to double up the rooks and to then take on b4. Didn't play bishop h6, but played h4 instead. And then I went ahead and got my king out of the way, so king h8 is what I played. Played h5, trying to break down my king side here, and then I played the correct move, which is play h6 and try to kick that bishop back and really block the idea of him pushing the pawn to h6. Brought the bishop back, and then I went ahead and doubled up my rooks. Put his rook on e1. I took on b4. He took back. Here's where I blundered. Completely winning position, and I just totally missed that fact that my rook on a7 is actually guarding this f7. So I don't know why I missed this or how, but just a completely bad move. I mean, just a horrible move. I could just play bishop f5 like the computer is suggesting, and then I'm threatening this. Taking this was a huge mistake. So he took this immediately, and I had to play this rook back to g8. He took on e6. And then I ended up taking on b4, hitting the rook. Bishop f2 is the best move, protecting the rook and blocking the whole rook a2 versus rook g2 ideas. So I played the move queen to d2, but computer likes this move rook to a2. I see. Rook a2. Okay. The idea might be after rook a2. What is the idea? Let's just say he plays a nothing move. Like, I don't know. Plays this. What would I have done? Taken here. He takes then. Check if he plays this. Check. Okay, I see the idea. I get the idea now of this move. Okay, so I played this move, and my idea is to just play queen to g5 and hit this g2 pawn again. So he went pawn grabbing and grabbed on c6, and then I just continued with my attack. I just played queen to g5, threatening the g2 pawn, at which point he didn't have any option but to take on e4 with the bishop, the rook. Took back, and he took back with the queen. I now gave it check. And yeah, here I figured he had to play this bishop e1, or else he just loses the rook to the check here. This is where he made the major blunder. Played king h2, after which he's completely lost because I play a check, and then I take this rook. Tried to create some counterplay with the pawn, pass pawn, but just not enough. I defended everything pretty well. Gave a check on this direction. And this is when he resigned the game. So overall, pretty good game. Just learning from my mistakes. Yeah, of course, I shouldn't have taken this. I should have played maybe like this move right here would be good. Queen g5 was played. Rook c3, I think is a little bit better. So yeah, overall good game. I think my opponent played pretty well as well, but he just made some inaccuracies near the end game. So yeah, but overall, I hope you guys learned something, and I will catch you guys in the upcoming video, which should be coming out sometime tomorrow.